Some of you will be able to recall a few months ago when I put out a video about a trifling 34-year-old mother who had abandoned her children, 3 of them, all teenagers, and she had abandoned them in her home, left them without any food for weeks at a time, left them without any care. She did not come in and check on them, and they were living in this filthy, dusty, dirty, dingy home it can only be abolished now. And so she left these kids there, and what happened was they ended up having to call the police because the landlord had not received a payment from the mother in several months. Had not seen her, had not received a payment, and so the authorities were contacted. They showed up at the home. They went inside the home, and that is where they found the appalling state of this house, this home, and the 3 children that were there living in this pigsty. Well, we have an update, and so I want to get into it. But first, before I read from the 4 different statements that we have about this case, I want to show you all something directly from this news article.
Well, now to a major update. The mom accused of abandoning her 3 children in a home of squalor, facing a judge today.
And who could forget the horrific conditions those children were living in when Oakland County deputies discovered them during a welfare check. That was back in February. Hazmat crews called to clean out the place. Investigators say the children slept alone there for several years, afraid to venture out.
Well, today a judge ruled that there is enough evidence against their mother, Kelly Bryant, and ordered her to stand trial.
That decision coming after new details were revealed in court, with detectives saying Bryant confessed when she said, quote, "I sacrificed my children." 7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels in court as some of Bryant's secrets were being revealed.
Observation was what appeared to be feces covering their clothing and their hair.
February 14th, Oakland County Sheriff's detectives were horrified to find 3 children, ages 12, 13, and 15, living in mold, feces, and squalor, abandoned in this Pontiac home for 4 to 5 years.
I've never smelt a home that smelled that bad without a decomposing body present.
Friday, 3 months later, their mother, 34-year-old Kelly Bryant, was in court physically for the first time for her preliminary examination.
34.
Prosecutors brought forth the detectives who found her children and who...
She 34 years old. She looked every bit of 52. Jesus Christ. It's amazing. It's amazing how these hood rats look without all the makeup, the glitz and the glamour, without all of the eyeshadow and the long caterpillar lashes. It's amazing how they look once you strip them down to their true self. You take away all the cosmetics. It's amazing the difference. She looked like something that's been here for at least 5 decades. At least.
Interviewed Bryant herself. Detective Brish saying he'll never forget meeting Bryant at the police station 1 hour after they found her kids hiding in a bathtub full of feces.
Her hair was done. She was wearing what appeared to be new clothes that were clean. She had long, fake nails.
Detectives say that Bryant was always living within walking distance of the children she abandoned. She hadn't touched them or given them hygiene products for years. She would have food dropped off to them about once a week, and she confessed to detectives.
She knew that her actions were selfish. That was her wording, and that it made her children sick. And that she had ultimately sacrificed her children for her own purposes.
According to detectives, Bryant's children were found in soiled clothes, hunched over with toenails several inches long. Bryant admitted to telling the children to never leave or open the door, purposely instilling a deep fear within them.
In those interviews, the court heard from all 3 victims about their irrational fear of strangers, pedophiles, and being blackmailed.
Further evidence brought forth revealed that Bryant would communicate mostly with the oldest boy through sporadic text messages. He had his mother listed in his phone as world's greatest mom. She had her children listed as my oldest, Kid 1 and Kid 2.
I would speak on the severity of the situation and my concerns for the children on their path to recovery and moving.
Wait a minute. We got to pause. Time out. First of all, this dusty asshole don't even look like she cares one bit. As she sits there and they're going over all of these things and details from this case, she is sitting there like she could give a fuck less. You dirty, crusty asshole. While she was off living her best fucking life, your kids, your 3 children that you brought into this world and squeezed through that nasty ass vagina are in a home suffering around, sitting around, waking up every single day, being around feces, dirt, filth, grime, and just the worst type of conditions that you could ever leave a child in. And this hoe is out here living it up. Hair done, nails done. Talking about she sacrificed her kids for her own. Yeah, no shit. We can see that. Next, you gonna tell me the sky is fucking blue. This nasty asshole, man.
Forward, and typically your response would be, is there anything I can do to help myself?
Detectives said that Bryant told them she...
Wait a minute, what? Hold on.
Said that Bryant told them she lied.
Hold on.
Is recovery and moving forward, and typically your response would be, is there anything I can do to help myself?
I was speaking on the severity of the situation and my concerns for the children and the path to recovery and moving forward. And typically, her response would be, is there anything I can do to help myself? Man, listen, bro. There's not a prison in this world, probably. Well, yeah, no, there's not a prison in this world where I would put her that I would deem fitting for the type of person that she is. She need to be on an island with animals, with ferocious, bloodthirsty animals. That's where she needs to be. There is no amount of justice, I'm convinced, that would be enough. Whatever her sentence turns out to be, there is no amount of justice that will make this level out, that will balance these scales. He just said that the son had her saved in his phone as world's greatest mom.
Is there anything I can do to help myself?
Detectives said that Bryant told them she lied to all of her family to keep her children hidden. She took the batteries out of the smoke detector in the home, so there was no risk of the fire department or police officers ever coming by.
God.
The defense argues that after the children were discovered in their care house interviews, the children did not seem to be suffering from severe mental harm.
Those children were articulate. They were answering questions.
Ultimately, the judge did not agree. She sent Bryant to stand trial on 3 counts of first-degree child abuse and 3 counts of welfare fraud.
There's no question that this is an extraordinary case.
In Pontiac, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
I want to switch over to this article that the news posted, where they have four separate documentations from people who are witnesses to this case and what they witnessed the day of when they went into that home and saw those children. And I'm going to read this entire article because I believe it's that important. That's her right there. Again, the mother, Kelly Bryant, who had no problem getting her hair done, and going and hang out with her boyfriend and get bust down. While she was doing that, her kids were suffering. I'm going to read this article starting from the beginning. The Oakland County mom accused of abandoning her kids and forcing them to live alone in filthy conditions for years is now heading to trial. Thank goodness. Kelly Bryant, 34, of Pontiac, is facing 3 counts of first-degree child abuse after authorities found her 3 children, a 15-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old girl living alone. She also faces welfare fraud charges. Shocking. There's a shocker, right? Bryant appeared for a preliminary examination on May 16th of 2025, that's just a couple days ago now, where a judge ruled that there was enough evidence presented by prosecutors for her to go to a jury trial. Bryant will be going to trial for the charges of child abuse and welfare fraud. Get her on every fucking thing y'all can. Everything. 4 witnesses testified in the preliminary hearing, including 3 responding deputy and the detective on the case who interviewed Bryant. This is a first-hand account from the responding deputy, which would technically be the first of the 4 witnesses. Oakland County Sheriff's Deputy Quincy Curtis was called to the Pontiac home in February for a welfare check. Deputies had been called for a welfare check the day before, but didn't get inside the home. And when he arrived the following day, the landlord was there with a locksmith. The landlord told Curtis that he hadn't seen or heard from the tenant in a while and hadn't received payment from her for some time. When Curtis walked into the home through the garage, he saw a large mold stain on the ceiling along with feces and trash everywhere. After that, he entered the home and said that there were also piles of trash, feces, and cobwebs throughout the inside of the home as well. He recalled the foul odor and said he thought they'd be checking the apartment for a dead body due to the smell. Curtis said he encountered a locked door, and when he turned to check the other doors, he could hear crying coming from that first locked door. So he went back to it. He said he told the children they were safe and they needed to come out so he could check on them. As he did this, the oldest child came out of one of the closed bedroom doors. That would be the oldest, the son, the 15-year-old son. The boy had extremely long toenails and had a hard time walking straight, according to the deputy. After their brother had asked them to, the other 2 children opened the door. When they came out, they were really hunched over, standing close to each other, holding hands, and wouldn't look up, according to Curtis. They were very frightened, he said. Recalling when he tried to talk to the children, Curtis said the children had a hard time figuring out how to spell their names when asked and had to talk among themselves to figure it out. Child Protective Services was contacted. I didn't think it was a suitable place for anyone to be living, said Curtis. As he recalled the welfare check, the 3 children were taken to the hospital and were given hygiene supplies, including toothbrushes, toothpaste, and shower products. He said the children were confused about how to brush their teeth and didn't understand how to flush the toilet. After they brushed their teeth, there was allegedly blood in the sink. Curtis said he didn't recall seeing any hygiene products when they searched the home. The deputy said the kids waited until all 3 of them were together to eat, and even then wouldn't eat unless everyone else stepped outside of the room. Bryant's attorney implied that the children could have been scared because they probably aren't familiar with strangers, especially an officer being in their home. The defense attorney also argued that the blood in the sink may not have been a result of the children brushing their teeth because Curtis didn't watch the children brush their teeth. All right. So that was the first witness account, right? Here's the second from the actual pediatrician that they saw. A pediatrician named Dr. Smith testified she performed a basic examination of the children at the outpatient clinic following their stay at the hospital. She claimed she didn't know very much information about the children prior to the appointment and that CPS was the one who set up the appointment. She recalled the children arriving at the clinic accompanied by their grandfather, a social worker, and a deputy from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. She examined the 3 children individually while being verbal with what she was doing throughout the examination. She also told the children to let her know if they are uncomfortable with what she was doing or in any pain. All 3 children denied being examined in their private areas. She said she was able to examine the children everywhere else, head to toe. Dr. Smith recalled that the oldest child didn't smile and was somewhat quiet. He also answered her questions. She said the oldest child has brown spots inside his mouth possibly lesions. Jesus Christ. She described the middle child as a little more high-spirited. Dr. Smith said the child stuttered somewhat but was able to communicate with her. The middle child told the doctor she was confused as to why this was happening. According to Dr. Smith, the middle child had a hard time standing up and her skin was darkened. Dr. Smith testified that all three had difficulty seeing and they were squinting. A screening chart was used and she determined they had nearsightedness. She then asked about their routine before they were removed from the home. The pediatrician testified that the children's routine was wake up, use their phone or tablet, sleep and eat food when it was provided to them. She said it was unclear when they went to bed and their routine seemed disorganized. No shit. The children told the doctor they were not allowed to go outside at all. Dr. Smith was concerned for the youngest child, claiming she may be developmentally delayed and immature for her age. She also said she was hunched over and had a very hard time standing up straight. The youngest child was also not able to get on the examination table by herself. The pediatrician said the most striking feature about the youngest child was that she was unable to hold her head up straight and was weak in general. Dr. Smith said the children had extremely low levels of vitamin D and recommended that they attend physical rehabilitation. The defense attorney argued that the general population of Michigan would have I don't even see how, as a lawyer, there has to be some type of fucking contract you sign where you make a deal with the devil to defend pieces of shit like this woman. It gotta be. It gotta be. Here's the third witness statement. Investigator from the prosecutor's office. The investigator, Brian Martin, testified he extracted phone data from the children's and Bryant's phones for investigation purposes. He said the children had their mom in their phone's contact labeled as world's greatest mom or similar in verbiage. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't type that shit in there herself. I would not be surprised if she didn't put that in there herself. Because I'm not even convinced that them kids even knew how to spell all of that. Bryant had her children's contact information on her phone labeled as my oldest, kid 1, and kid 2. He said he saw text messages exchanged mostly between Bryant and the oldest child regarding food delivery. For example, she sent a text message to the oldest on November 30th, 2024 saying, "There, hurry, and let me know you got it." The oldest child would also message Bryant what food they were requesting. She would order it for delivery, and the oldest would retrieve the food from the porch. Martin read out one text Bryant sent to the children in court. "I don't feel comfortable with you opening the door without me knowing." Wow. He testified that the children would continually ask for things from their mother. He said she would sometimes delay delivery on things they asked for. Martin said, based on the oldest child's phone data, the oldest child met a girl online and talked to her about exchanging presents for Christmas. So the oldest gave the girl his address, and he let Bryant know. On December 17th of 2024, she messaged the oldest child, "You should have asked first. I would have gave you an address, but not that one." Martin brought up the text exchanges between Bryant and her oldest child on February 14th of 2025, the day the children were found by police. At 7:30 p.m., the oldest child messaged Bryant saying police were there and they were scared. She responded, telling them to hide and be quiet. This is the fourth and last testimony. John from the detective that was on the case, his name is John Brish. He testified that he was part of the child abuse investigation. He said he was monitoring radio calls when he heard about the children claiming they hadn't seen their mom in years during the welfare check via radio traffic, so responded to the Pontiac home. He testified he saw the two younger children having difficulty walking and seeing in the light. He said the children were covered in feces. He also said they appeared overwhelmed and overstimulated. Police were advised to wear hazmat suits. Brish testified that he never smelled a home like the Pontiac home, where there wasn't a decomposing body. So he kept asking the deputies if there were more children inside. He said it is not typical for someone to wear a hazmat suit in a home to investigate due to the condition of the apartment. He was able to contact Bryant over the phone the day the children were removed. He told her he was concerned about the health of the children. He said she agreed to meet him at the Pontiac substation. Bryant told Brish that she was on the north side of Pontiac and took a lift to get to the destination. He took her to a recorded room to question her with another detective and read her Miranda rights to her. He said her demeanor was questionable at times. He also testified that Bryant's appearance was the most surprising. He explained that Bryant arrived at the station wearing clean clothes, her hair was done, and she was wearing long, fake nails. He said it was unusual based on how the authorities had found the children. According to Brish, Bryant admitted her actions were selfish. She said she sacrificed her children for herself. Quote, "I hurt my children," he recalled Bryant saying. "I sacrificed my children, probably." He said he was surprised by how confident her admission was. She described to Bryant one occasion when she met the oldest child in the garage to drop off food. She would then wait in the car until he got inside. Brish testified that she also went to the apartment once to check the smoke alarm since it was going off. She then pulled out the batteries in the smoke detector. She confirmed she told her children to hide when police went to the home. She also told detectives she didn't want anyone to know her children were there, living there alone. "Is there anything I could do to help myself?" Brish recalled Bryant asking when he noted the severity of the situation. All right. That's enough. I can't wait for this trial to happen, honestly. I can't wait for this trial to happen, and I can't wait to see what happens to her. I hope they throw everything at this selfish piece of trash. There are some people that I just think you don't even need to put them. Let's not even waste governmental resources on feeding them. Let's not waste taxpayer dollars on providing her with meals or a home. She clearly ain't skipped no meals. She been eating good. Let's just allow her to waste away like she let them kids do. I think the punishment should fit the motherfucking crime. I think they should take her dusty ass and lock her inside of a home and drop off meals to her maybe once every 2 weeks in a dirty ass, filthy ass home for years and tell her don't come outside or you'll be shot on sight. I think let the punishment fit the crime. There's no reason to treat her humanely. She's a fucking animal. She could care less. At the end of it, she didn't even ask how her kids were doing. She said, "Is there anything I can do to help me? How do I get me out of this situation? How do I make me look better in the public eye of everyone else?" Man, listen, there are some people in this earth and on this planet that's just fucking evil, yo. We don't even need to waste time taking this to trial. Let's not waste no tax dollars. We know where we need to put her. We know where we need to put her. This hoe need to be among the White Walkers from Game of Thrones. In a cold forest at night with the wolves. Let that hoe survive out. Let her fend for herself. Drop this hoe off on an island and just let her be. Anyway, that's your update. 4 separate witnesses, all with inhumane stories that is really just heartbreaking. My heart breaks for those children. I hope that they are getting the help and assistance that they need so that hopefully at some point in the future they can turn this all around and look back as stable, grown adults who have been able to surmount this impossible situation that they've been placed in by their own fucking mom. Anyway, when the trial happens, I'll bring that to you all as well. I'll keep my eye on it and keep a pulse on the situation. Until then, y'all drop a comment. Let me know what you think about it, and I'll holler at y'all later.